Oh. Hi, you must be Shannon.
Yeah, I am.
I'm Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
So nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
So how's your day going so far?
It's going pretty well. It's been a little busy. I had to find a babysitter for the kids. My husband's at work, and so that was a little hectic. But it's good. I'm here now, so that's.
So you have kids?
Yeah, I have 4 of them now.
Oh, 4 kids.
Just had my fourth. Well, it's my second. This is my second, but then my husband has 2 kids as well. So.
Oh my goodness.
I just had my my baby Connor a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
Brand new.
Brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So Connor?
Yes.
Your baby's
Connor's
name.
the baby's name.
Mm-hmm. And who are your other children?
Lydia is the oldest, and she's my biological daughter. And then Emily and Megan are the two middle girls.
Oh my goodness. You have your hands full.
Yeah, they keep me busy. The 2 middle ones I've only been taking care of them for a couple of months, so I'm still getting used to. We just merged our households, so just getting used to figuring out how to handle all of those kids.
Such a transition.
It is. It's been challenging, wonderful, but challenging.
Yeah. So wonderful though.
Yes,
Yeah.
Definitely wonderful.
So it's going well with the children, and they're adjusting okay?
Yeah. They were all sick at first, and so now they're all feeling better, and they're really enjoying getting to know their little brother, and so it's good.
Fun. That's great to hear that. So what brings you in here today?
Well, like I said, I just had Connor, and I recently learned that it's important to like the health benefits of breastfeeding, and I wasn't aware of that the first time around, and I didn't think I could do it, and I didn't really have a lot of support. But now that I know a little bit more, I'm interested in doing that. But I don't have the healthiest relationship with food. Like I don't have a hard time eating a lot, and really just not sure I'm going to get enough calories to be able to make enough milk and to keep it healthy. And so I'm worried that my relationship with food is maybe going to be a problem. So I'm interested in talking a little bit about that.
Oh, okay. So I'm hearing that you're learning about the benefits of breastfeeding, and you'd like to try that with your new son.
Mm-hmm.
And but you've had some challenges with your relationship with food in the past, and you're concerned that you're not going to get enough calories to meet the needs for breastfeeding.
Right, because I know that formula has everything that the baby needs, and if I'm not eating right, then I don't know that my milk will have what it needs in order to. So I've only been giving him about an ounce of breast milk a day to just so he gets whatever's good in it, and then the rest I've been giving formula to make sure he's getting what he really needs. And so I don't know if that's right or not, but I would feel more comfortable if I just sort of knew how to work on getting enough food for myself and how to do that comfortably without worrying about getting too fat.
Okay, yeah. So it's important to you to improve your relationship with food and be able to feel comfortable eating more.
Right, because I really don't want to gain weight. I don't want to gain weight. So, but I want to take care of my baby. So it's just I don't know how to do both of those things at the same time.
So you really value your baby's health.
Yes.
But you're concerned about putting on any extra weight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or not losing the weight from the pregnancy fast enough, and that sort of thing too is. I mean, it seems to be going okay, but that's still, I don't want it to linger any longer than it has to.
And so how's the breastfeeding going so far? You said you've been doing an ounce a day?
About that. A little more lately because he seems to do well with it. It's going well now that I had my mom come and help me figure out how to do it because I didn't know how. So that I think is going well as far as the actual process of it.
Great. So that's going well.
Yes.
The act itself, breastfeeding, you're finding that to be a good thing.
Right. There's some of the normal starting challenges from what I've heard, but a little sore and that kind of thing. But it's not a big deal.
Nothing out of
the
ordinary. Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like first I'll kind of go over what to expect in the next. We have about 25 minutes or so to kind of talk about any concerns you have about your diet, and
Okay.
we can talk about any concerns you have at all, and then we'll focus on a specific area that we can maybe create an experiment that you want to try, that you could possibly try in the next few weeks or so before we meet again. So, and before we go into that, we'll do kind of a intake assessment. So we'll just go over a typical day of eating, what that's like, what you eat when you first wake up, and what you eat from then until you go to sleep at night. So how does that sound to you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess we could start with what a typical day of eating is like for you. What is so after you wake up in the morning, I guess.
Okay. Well, I skip breakfast a lot because I usually just feel kind of nauseous in the mornings, and I have to get the kids that go to school ready for school, and so it's usually busy, and I don't always feel the best in the morning. So I usually skip breakfast. And then probably around 10 or 11, I'll have a snack, like an apple or sometimes a granola bar.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's in the mornings. Coffee, I drink a lot of coffee to keep my energy up.
And when do you start drinking coffee? First thing in the morning or later?
Usually first thing in the morning if I have time to make it. I'll have coffee and a cigarette to get me ready for the day, and then I'll just drink it through the morning. Or if I don't have time to make it in the morning, then I'll make it as soon as I make my snack once everything's settled.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So coffee is not something that bothers you as far as morning sickness, or?
No, I not as much as food does. Like sometimes it doesn't sound good, but most of the time I need the energy from it, regardless of if it's going to make me feel a little weird.
Oh, so the energy is important.
Yes.
For you from the coffee.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then so after your granola bar, your apple, what do you eat after that?
I usually try and do lunch, something like either Taco Bell or like some fast food if I'm out and about. Otherwise, if I'm at home, I'll try for like a lean pocket or a lean cuisine or something like that, because I know I should be eating things that are more healthy, but a lot of times the fast food is just more convenient. So, but most of the time, I guess I'd say most of the time I eat a lean pocket is a good example of a lunch snack. Mm-hmm.
So how many days a week would you say that you eat out?
Not too many, probably like 4.
Okay, 4 days a week?
Yeah.
And normally lunch, like you said, or after your granola bar and your apple?
Yeah, well, it just sort of depends, because the kids really love going to, like, McDonald's and stuff, so if it's just me that I need to, like, squeeze something in, then it's lunchtime, but usually we take the whole family, and so it would be more dinner once everybody's home from school.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And about 4 nights a week that you guys do that?
Yeah, well, probably 3 nights a week with everybody, and 1 or 2 days, like lunchtime for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you normally go? Is there one place that you typically
Oh, we love Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. And then my kids really love McDonald's more, so we sort of like trade off who gets what they want most.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you order when you go there? Do you...
I like a lot of things, but the Mexican pizza or the what is that? The Crunch Wrap Supreme. That one I really like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what about at McDonald's, or you get yourself something there too?
Yeah, I try and get the salads when I go there, just since we go there a little more often, and I think the salads are supposed to be a little bit more healthy than some of the other stuff on the menu, so I do that, and then I get a sweet tea instead of the soda that's there.
So you aim for the healthier options on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, so dinner time, you mentioned that you go out about 3 nights a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
And on the off nights that you don't go out, what do you guys typically have for dinner?
Usually, my husband really likes meat, so we always have, either steak or chicken, or been doing pork chops a little more often lately, but but always something like that. Or, if it's pizza, then it's going to have meat on it for sure. And then I try and do stuff like stuffed bell peppers and stuff like that sometimes, but it just takes a lot of time. So usually probably just like a piece of meat and some mashed potatoes and like some canned green beans or something.
Okay, so preparation time is...
Yeah, it's got to be short because I just don't have, I go crazy if I'm trying to take care. They're pulling on me and they want to paint my nails and they're fighting and there's the animals too, and so there's just too much. It has to be fast.
So it sounds hard to just focus on doing one thing like cooking dinner.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
So having kind of convenient foods on hand is important to you, it sounds like.
Definitely.
Things
yeah, they have to be convenient and fast or we can't do it and we'll just go. That's a lot of the times why we go out to eat instead, is because I just don't have the time or the energy to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Understandable. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. It really helps kind of get an idea of what areas we can work on if you'd like, or, just to get an idea of what your typical day is like. So
okay.
Appreciate you sharing that. So if you don't mind me asking, what is it that you would really like to get out of this appointment today?
Well, yeah, like I kind of mentioned before, I know that some of the things that I eat and the ways that I'm feeding I do pretty well about feeding my family, but even if I'm making good stuff for them, like I don't want to get fat. Like I've struggled with that for a long time, and so that's really probably my biggest concern, and that I'd like to work on, is how to get enough calories and nutrients, because I know that I need them, but not gain weight and be healthy for myself and for my son.
So it sounds like for you a balance is really crucial and really important to you. You want to have a balance of eating enough but not too much. You're really concerned about excess.
Right.
It sounds like.
The only ways that I've been able to not gain weight have been by lots of dieting and like really not eating much of anything. Otherwise, I feel like I'm constantly gaining weight, and I can't exercise anymore. My back hurts, and I just don't have time either. And so I guess food's the only way that I can keep the weight off, but I know that I need it too. So I just don't really trust that I know when to eat or how much.
So I'm hearing you're feeling a little bit out of control of this because, like you said, you're limited in your ability to do physical activity, and then food is kind of the only way that you can really monitor what your weight is. And
yeah, and it's just really stressful for me to the idea of eating is really stressful, because I know that it's going to make me gain weight, or at least not help me lose it. But I know also that I have to eat. Like, it's important, and I know that I'm more tired when I don't eat, right? But then I start gaining weight again, and so yeah, definitely feeling a little out of control about that. That's a good way to put that.
Yeah, so I'm hearing a lot of anxiety with regards to food.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's always been like that. I've been struggling with my weight since I was 11 or so, maybe even younger, where I started getting made fun of and that sort of thing. I started my first diet when I was 12, and like it just has made food not fun. But then I wanted to eat it all the time anyway, because I was just being told I shouldn't eat it, and so I just ate it nonstop, and I think that's what made me get even fatter. And then now the only way I can do it is to not eat it, and that is not good either. So yeah, a lot of anxiety. It's really, I just kind of feel like I go in circles when I think about it myself.
Yeah, I see. So it sounds to me like this has been something that's been going on for a long time for you. Like this started pretty early on.
Yeah.
This attitude or these feelings toward food.
Very early on, and mom and my sisters, they never had the same struggles. They had issues with food and like how they thought they looked, but they didn't look like I did. And so it was, that was a lot of stress too, because I just felt like I needed to do something different because something was wrong with me. And, now but I don't want my kids to be like that. I don't want my kids to be like that. I want them to be healthy, and I want them to think about food in a way that's not so stressful or anxiety causing, like you said.
So I'm hearing that it's really important to you to set a good example.
Yeah,
for
very.
Your children.
Because I've got 3 girls. Like, Connor may not have issues with this. I just want to make sure he's healthy while he's growing. But he's a boy. He probably won't care, But the 3 girls, like, there's a lot of pressure for body image, and I want them to be healthy and get the foods that they need and the nutrients they need so they grow well. And I don't know that I'm the one to give them that advice and to help them do that.
So you're concerned about
yeah.
your ability to fill that role and to be a good example for your children is what I'm hearing. Is that right?
Right, because no one else is going to do it. It has to be me, so I have to figure it out. My husband eats terribly. He just eats, he'd eat pepperoni pizza every day for the rest of his life if I let him. So, I've got to be the person, but I'm just, I'm not sure how to do it until I fix my own problems, I guess.
Would you mind telling me more about that, about your husband and his relationship with food and how that kind of plays in with...
Yeah, he's just really picky. He only likes certain things. He really doesn't like vegetables. I have to make him eat them. I try and pick ones that he kind of likes. Green beans is one that he'll eat. And carrots he'll eat, and potatoes, and that's, I have to sneak it in somehow otherwise for him to eat them. So I have to work with him to make sure that that his pickiness isn't necessarily transferring over to the kids, and we had to talk about him trying something at least, even if he doesn't like it, he has to try it so that they don't just say, oh, I don't like it, and think that that's an excuse to not eat well. I guess that's how he plays into that.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you're feeling a little bit of pressure to be that role model because maybe there's no one else around who could fill that.
Right. And now that I'm living here, my mom's not close by because she used to come help me, and we'd cook meals together and stuff like that. And so that helped a lot. But now she's almost an hour away, so she can't come over all the time.
Do you mind expanding more about that? What was it like to cook meals with your mom and have that support?
Oh, it was good because I was busy and she was busy, and so if we could do it in half the time and each eat food, because she doesn't eat really either unless someone else is making her or she feels like she should. So I knew that was helping her too, and so that was really helpful. It's been tough not having that around because she was over probably, if we weren't going out to McDonald's, she'd come with us if we did, but probably the rest of the nights minus one or so each week she'd be over at the house. So it's been a big change.
Yeah, it sounds like quite a transition, having that support and being able to save time to...
Right.
And now how long ago did that take place where she moved away?
Well, I moved in with Dino, and that was at Christmas time. So it's been a few months now, 4 months.
So you moved from where you had been to live... Okay.
Yeah.
I see now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hearing that you're going through this transition. You have a new baby, and you're valuing, or your main concern is, from what I hear, is your relationship with food and how that's going to influence your children and their relationships with food.
Yes. That's right on. That's exactly what I'm worried about.
So, do you have any ideas about ways that you'd like to improve your relationship with food, or do you have any ideas of what has worked for you in the past? Or
well, I know that I really like the taste of vegetables, so I like having vegetables in my diet, and those aren't high in fat or in fat. That's the big one, and so I guess eating more vegetables, but they just take so much longer to prepare. So I guess that's one way I could maybe.
So I'm hearing that you really actually enjoy the taste of vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel comfortable eating them because they're not associated with a lot of weight gain.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've heard that they have, like antioxidants and other good stuff in there that is supposed to be good for you, and I guess minerals and vitamins.
Yeah.
So I know they're important. That's why I eat salads when I go to McDonald's, because I try and get those in there. And
So you like salads?
Mm-hmm. I do like salads.
What other kind of foods do you really enjoy?
I really like smoothies. That's something that, like, even when I'm not I don't feel like they're gonna make me gain too much weight, because I can make sure what's in them is okay. And even if I'm feeling kind of nauseous, because sometimes I just can't. I feel like I just can't eat. It may be like a mental block or something, but sometimes I can eat almost nothing all day and still not feel like I need to eat anything, and it makes me feel sick thinking about it. And so smoothies are one thing that that I can usually have no matter what. Like, they go down pretty well.
So smoothies override that feeling of not wanting to eat.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they override it, but they at least like sound good, and then they taste good, and they're not too heavy usually, and they don't take a lot of time. So I guess just all of those things.
So you like smoothies and salads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sounds like you like things that you can feel comfortable eating enough of that don't cause a lot of excess weight.
Right.
Things like that.
Because the other things I like, I know are going to make me gain weight, and so I just I try not to think about them, and I try and like not be around if they're around, if I can help it.
The other things you like, would you mind?
Yeah, like pizza, and like spaghetti, and like with the meat sauce that my grandma used to make, and I know I shouldn't have too many carbs. I like bread and cheese and those sorts of things, and so, but I know that I shouldn't have those.
That you shouldn't have those.
Right. Because
what do you mean by that?
Well, because they'll make me gain weight, because they carbs and fat that's in like like cheese and stuff. The fat and the cheese and the carbs, I heard, are in all the breads, and so like I know that carbs and fat make you gain weight, and so I don't want those in my diet any more than they have to be.
Okay, so you don't want those in your diet, and it sounds like you said you don't even like to think about those. You try to just put those out of your mind, and when you're around them, or when they're around.
Because if they're around, I'll eat them because I like them a lot, but I don't want to go on another one of those diets. Like I've done so many of the pills and the like weird like cabbage only for like 2 months or something. I can't do that, like those are just felt awful. So it's better if I just don't eat the things that I know will make me fat.
So it sounds to me like you want to avoid doing this whole dieting thing.
Yeah.
Ever again.
Yeah, if I can help it, because I mean, they don't seem to work for long. They work for a little bit, which is better than nothing, I guess. But I just don't feel good while I'm on them, and then I feel like I end up like eating everything that I want afterwards, and then I gain back the weight anyway, and so I just feel like that's not the best way to do it. And I heard my 7-year-old talking about needing to start a diet a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if she got that from me or her grandma or from someone at school, but she's so skinny, she doesn't need that, and I don't want her. So that was really an eye-opener for me.
I see. So dieting has not been working for you in the past.
No.
And the idea of one of your children even considering a diet sounds like it's very concerning to you. Right,
because I had even been thinking about going and getting one of those like water pills or whatever, where you can lose all the water weight after I had Connor, because I wasn't losing the weight fast enough, and that was when I heard Lydia talking about wanting to, or feeling like she needed to start a diet, and so I didn't even go pick up those because it just felt wrong.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you're very aware of your relationship with food, and you're very aware of what has and hasn't worked for you in the past with regards to that relationship. And it sounds to me like you are taking on this role of being a mother and being a role model, and that your children are your main focus and your main value, and setting a good example for them is very important to you. So if you don't mind, could I give you some suggestions about ways, things that have helped other clients that I've had improve their relationship with food, and have even resulted in not feeling the need to go on diets anymore. So.
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
Okay, great. So actually they're all here on this, a lot of them are here on this handout that I have. It's got a cute little picture of Cookie Monster on there, which is fun for kids.
They do love the Cookie Monster.
He's so fun. So the first suggestion is to fire the food police. And that means getting out of this mindset of labeling foods good or bad. And really just noticing what it's like for you to take in foods that you want to label good or bad. Just really getting an idea of what you're experiencing emotionally, what your thoughts are, and really trying to become more neutral with labeling foods as either good or bad, or those things that as a society we tend to categorize our foods as and put these labels on them. But this step, what's worked for a lot of my clients in the past is really starting to move away from that mindset and look at all the foods for what they all can contribute to your diet, and how they can be a valuable part of your diet. Okay. And then I don't know if that's something that sounds good, but we also have some other options. Eat the food you crave when you crave them. And I know this might sound like scary for someone who's so concerned about what they eat and putting on any excess calories. And that's really what this is about, is to give yourself that freedom and not and really consider, how does this feel for me? Do I feel out of control? Why do I feel out of control? Really just looking at your thought processes when it comes to eating the food you crave when you crave them, and in thinking about the positive aspect of it. How did it really satisfy my craving to eat this food? How much of it did I eat when I craved it? Really just taking in the experience and kind of almost taking a back seat and looking at yourself from another perspective almost. Okay. And then these some other things that have worked for some clients that I've had is they say when you eat the food you crave and you turn off all the distractions and you really just put yourself, which I understand would be challenging if you have children, but if you find yourself able to have a quiet spot where you can make yourself something that is enjoyable for you to eat, and just notice what it's like, the texture, the flavor, the smell, the color, just really experiencing that food. And a lot of clients say that when they do that, no matter what it is they're eating, they end up eating less, they find. Because really just noticing that experience results in not needing so much of it.
Okay. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about food that way. So that one's kind of interesting, but this one I don't think I can do this one. The eating what I crave when I crave it. Right. I just don't know that I'm ready for that, and I wasn't actually expecting to hear that in an appointment with a nutritionist.
That's understandable. And I know that when you're breastfeeding, of course, there are limitations. You can't just always eat the things you crave when you crave them. So that might be something that that may not work for you.
Yeah. Well, and I just don't know that I trust myself to do that. But this sounds interesting, being able to think about not labeling foods as good or bad. But how do you do that? Like, stop labeling them and still know that you're getting foods that are good for you. I mean, I guess I just did it again, but like, if I want to make sure that my kids are getting food that's going to keep them healthy and that Connor's getting enough nutrients that he needs, how do I do that by not separating the good from the bad?
That's an understandable concern. So that's definitely something to consider. I think the goal or the ultimate what you ultimately or clients ultimately do when they fire the food police is really just get an idea of where they stand with food, because a lot of times they didn't even realize they had certain reservations about certain foods. And a lot of clients find that when they kind of delve into that and look at their opinions of foods, it really goes back to an experience they've had, or it really goes back to something else that's not actually intrinsically related to that food. And so the point is really to, and then also I forgot to include that a lot of my clients also find that when they get away from labeling foods good or bad, they find themselves eating a varied diet. They find themselves eating amounts that are consistent with the calories they need, but yet not are in excess.
And it just sort of happens naturally when you start thinking that way.
That's what they report anyway. A lot of my clients find that when they get away from that mindset, they actually find themselves naturally craving a good variety of food that ends up being a varied and nutritious diet.
Okay, well, and yeah, because you made a good point that this is really about, I'm here to work on my own relationship with food so that I can learn to do what my kids need too, but I have to work on myself first, so that's why I'm here. So yeah, so I think I would like to try that, to try changing that perspective.
Okay, to try to fire the food police,
yes,
as it says.
Yes.
So getting out of the mindset of vegetables and smoothies are good because they don't help me gain weight, and spaghetti and pizza are bad because they'll result in excess, weight gain or calorie intake or things like that.
Okay.
And so, if you'd like, we can kind of just go over your concerns about this and how exactly you can fit this into your busy schedule.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. So.
Give it 30 minutes.
Oh. Okay. So let's see what we can. So, what are some ways that you want to maybe incorporate some foods that you feel that are bad, and maybe just get an idea of what it's like to eat those foods and really look at the experience and note how that went for you?
I think maybe even just keeping a journal at the end of the day, like what I was, because I think about every food I look at, I think about, is it good or is it bad? And so maybe just starting with actually writing what those are down so that I can see them all in a list, because when I'm thinking, I'm so busy in the day that I don't stop to think, I don't know that I would do a very good job of really thinking it through in the day. But if I took some time to write it down and reflect at night before I go to sleep, that might help me get an idea of what I even think about the foods that I had that day.
So writing things down is something that would work for you and kind of force you to start thinking about it.
Because I already journal anyway. That's how I go to sleep at night and kind of help my mind shut down because things are just so crazy. So that would fit into what I already do.
Oh, that sounds perfect. So you already journal. Maybe you could just make that a part of your normal journaling process.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be good. And so then should I just write down all the foods that I had or thought about having during the day, and if I thought they were good or bad, and if that made me influence my decision to eat them? Or
yeah, this really is an experiment that to the level that you're comfortable with.
Okay.
And if that sounds like something that would work for you, really just writing down the food and really getting an idea of the thoughts that came to mind, the memories, anything like that.
And is that something that we could look at together the next time so that you could sort of help me figure out, like, make sense of what I was
That
thinking?
would be excellent.
Okay.
I would look forward to seeing that and
Okay.
seeing how that went for you.
Because, yeah, that's my only, I think you asked what my concerns were. I think that would be my concern is, like, I can do that, but then I'm not sure I would know how to change it. But I don't know that I can change what I'm doing until I know what I'm thinking.
Exactly. This is something that is a process. And,
Okay.
And I do want to reiterate that this is an experiment we're trying, and there's no success, there's no failure. It's just really just for you to see if this is something that's going to work for you and something that's going to help you get through that process, the long process of reevaluating your relationship with food and improving your relationship with food.
Okay.
So,
okay. And it's okay to start with baby steps to move to a bigger picture because the other stuff I've tried hasn't worked. So this is a way that people do it sometimes to figure things out.
Yeah, baby steps definitely, because we get so overwhelmed when we try to make everything perfect right away, and so baby steps I think are something for a lot of my clients, something that works for them to really reach that goal and in a manageable way.
Okay.
So
I like the idea of this and starting to really think about what I usually just do and don't think about. So
I'm hearing that writing down your experience with eating foods that you find good and bad and knowing what those foods are is something that's going to help you in that, encourage you to repair your relationship with food in a way that you can model a healthy relationship with food to your children.
Yeah.
So.
Because, I think that would help them, too, if they weren't calling things good or bad. Because how do you tell them they shouldn't diet if they, like that whole mentality. So I think this will help me help them in the long run, too.
Great. So journaling is something you do daily.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you want to try daily, or is this something maybe you want to just try? How much time do you think you?
That's a good question. Because things get crazy sometimes. I always write at least a sentence, but I might not have time every day to write the whole day's worth of stuff. So maybe like 2 days a week to start. Is that not enough?
That sounds very manageable. That sounds like that would work best for you.
Okay. Yeah, then maybe I'll start with 2 days a week, and I'll try for more, but I think I'll aim for 2, and to just start getting in the practice of doing it. 2 days a week, I think I could do that.
So 2 days a week of getting in the practice of journaling and really focusing on those foods you want to label good or bad. Okay. So what days do you think you're going to have the most time to do that?
Well, probably on Wednesdays and Fridays. Fridays, the kids almost always go visit their Nana, and so I have a little more time to myself. Great. So that would be easier. And then Wednesday is just, it's the middle of the week, but it's no better or worse than any other day. So it's broken up a little bit, but I think I could just say Wednesdays and Fridays.
Wednesdays and Fridays. Great. Okay. And how long do you think you want to try out this experiment before we meet again and talk about how it's working for you?
Maybe for like 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks would be good, because I don't want to just keep doing this and then not know if it's helping or not. But and that'll give me a chance to practice it too. So,
okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So then we can meet again in 2 weeks, and I would love if you could bring your journal and we could go over different feelings you've had while you were eating foods that you typically want to label good or bad. And
I would really like that. Yeah, think about the way that those foods make me feel when I eat them too.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. And and we can go from there and see whether or not that was something that was helpful for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. It was good meeting you.
It's good to meet you too.